First of all, I am a person who loves my own language and all Bharatiya languages. In my college days, we used to run a group, Shuddha Marathi Samuha, and the member of any member of this group, if he used a single English word in the conversation, he would get a penalty. And what was the penalty? One potato vada among four. But this was the group. We tried that our group members speak in the pure Marathi. So, I do not approve the linguistic dominance of colonial mindset. And I think every one of us should also love and be proud of our own language. I would like to share one incident about K.R. Malkani. We all know his name. He was editor of Organizer. In one of the issues, a spelling mistake appeared in the Organizer, and K.R. Malkani was questioned and cornered in the meeting of editorial group. How this happened? The answer of K.R. Malkani was rather shocking. In the answer, he quoted an incident from US. In United States, there was a newspaper in which grammatical mistakes and misspelling was deliberately and intentionally made by the editor. The editor used to misspell and grammatical mistakes were there, deliberately made. When asked about that, the editor answered, I want to destroy British English. British English is also called as Victorian English, which itself is a sign of colonial mindset of an intellectual slavery. And today we are witnessing that US has developed its own spelling and its own type of English. Second reason behind my approach, as I hail from Maharashtra, and there are two literary figures, two intellectuals, who have challenged the notion that the Pune Marathi, Mysore Kannada or Kashi Hindi is a pure Hindi, Kannada or Marathi. They have challenged the notion that any language, the Pramana Bhasha is there, the standard language is there. They have challenged this concept. No language is standard language. So, my English is my own English. I do not care whether it is grammatically correct according to British English or US English also. Now, coming to the point. Sangh has completed its 98 years and heading towards its centenary. RSS journey is not meaningful but also fruitful. This is the movement of centenary we all should be proud of. The RSS leadership, RSS workers, volunteers and all the sympathizers, well-wishers, they are proud of this movement. But at the same time, it is the time for self-assessment also. The organization is ought to think about its outreach in terms of number of Shakha, number of Swayamsevak, and the influence of various walks of life. The organization had made the impact of organization in various walks of life. Anniversary to me is the occasion when the organization is expected to celebrate, also introspect. At the same time, for the society, it is the responsibility of the intellectuals to have a very critical analysis of the journey of any organization who is completing its centenary. The intellectual should seriously look into Sangh's positive, constructive and meaningful contribution on social issues. Intellectuals should look into how Sangh has put forth its views in accordance with the time and played its role actively in the social sphere. I think this kind of analysis is very rare up till now. Sangh is analyzed more politically and rarely socially. I think this is the need of the hour, that the intellectuals should analyze the Sangh's role in the social sphere also. Now we will consider the situation of our society in the beginning of 19th century when Sangh was founded. Social, economic and political conditions were extremely adverse when RSS was founded in 1925. It was not only pathetic but also miserable. Confidence level of the local people was very low because of the conditions surrounding them. People had no political power. They were not involved in decision making. Neither their interests were taken care of by then government. Land and other means of production, they were not controlled by them but by the foreigners. Obviously, it was the situation in which scholars, thinkers and leaders were involved in brainstorming to look for the reason and the solutions prevailing this condition. This brainstorming or churning included all walks of life, whether it is literature or art, economic or social. Every walk of life was going through this journey. History was interpreted in various ways for the causes of this decline and for the solutions. They were continuously analyzing all these people. They were continuously analyzing our history. Leaders were trying to find the reason behind the conditions. One school of thought was blaming the invasion for this decline or the pathetic condition. They were saying that Afghans, Pathans, Mughals and Britishers, they are responsible for this condition. And other group, it was taking the internal fault lines for this decline. They were rejecting our history as a trash and all traditions outdated. They were blaming our traditions, our culture and our history for this downfall. But hardly anyone thought about the lack of organization and unity in the society as the reason behind it. The most distinguished undercurrent of all this happening was equally important. Women and caste, the two factors, were remaining at the center space of this brainstorming. RSS founder Dr. Keshav, on this background, RSS founder Dr. Keshav Balram Hedgewar started Sangh in 1924. We need to understand Dr. Hedgewar's role, thought and ideas, his actions and vision to understand RSS. Because it is necessary, as Dr. Hedgewar's life bloomed, germinated, flowered as RSS in the future. The seed of the RSS we can see in the life of Dr. Hedgewar. To begin with, we will try to see the difference between all these thinkers and Dr. Hedgewar's vision about the reason behind this downfall. RSS founder Dr. Hedgewar used to insist that none other than ourselves are responsible for this pathetic condition. He was very empathetic that internal stagnancy of the society was the main reason behind this condition, and external invasion was supportive for the deplorable situation. He used to argue that continuous introspection would help us to identify the fault lines of the society. He was neither blaming external invasion, he was neither blaming our history. He was of the firm view that we are faultless and we are correct could never lead, this approach could never lead to reformation and improvement. Unfortunately, today we are seeing a new trend among right-wing intellectuals that blame foreign invaders for all the social ills and the evils. They believe that we had no social evil or ill prior to the foreign invasion. They insist that all the social ills were the gifts of foreign intruders. They blame Islamic invasion for social ills, which got enlarged by British regime. Dr. Hedgewar, on the other hand, always refused to buy such type of argument. He was always against holding outsiders responsible for ills prevailing in the society. He never believed in the blame game. He firmly believed that we are the responsible for ourselves and our condition. However, we must note that Dr. Hedgewar he was never apologetic about our history, entire history. He was open to taking responsibility of the social ills, but used to have pride in the glorious past. This theory was the foundation of the organization which he built. We, as an ancient nation, culture and society, we are ancient nation. In this situation, one ought to understand that errors do percolate, do precipitate and infiltrate in the system in the course of time. RSS is ready to take the responsibility of such ills and is committed to free our society from such shackles. Dr. Hedgewar's aim was to unite Hindu without exception, without excluding anybody. In the Sangh terminology, we call it as the Hindu Samaj, Nishesha Hindu Samaj ka Sanghatan, without excluding anybody. It was a Herculean task to unite Hindus, but RSS founder was absolutely clear about his aim and objective. According to him, this was one and the only one way for national upliftment. We ought to note how difficult it was to unite Hindus who were suffering from caste discrimination, untouchability. In fact, it was almost an impossible task to unite Hindus unless the caste discrimination and untouchability were completely eradicated. Dr. Hedgewar undertook this mission because of his resolve and firm faith in his idea. We should note that the life mission of RSS, that Hindu unification, includes eradication of all types of discrimination. Without this eradication of discrimination, Hindu unification was next to impossible. RSS, one can say, was a movement of self-correction. This was a big social movement. In fact, speaking of Hindu Sanghatan was itself a big social revolution. The unified Hindu society was supposed to be caste-free, free from all ills and inequalities. Though RSS is a self-correction movement, Dr. Hedgewar never resorted to extreme self-criticism, as it was bound to result in low self-esteem, low motivational level and non-functional attitude. RSS founder was very clear about rituals. He used to say, following individual rituals, Snana Sandhya, is not a dharma. He, in 1927 Guru Pujan Utsav, he clearly stated, he categorically said, Sangh does not believe in untouchability. Sangh does not believe in discrimination between rich, poor, Brahmin, Mahar, educated, uneducated. Sangh is open to all. This speech he has given in 1927. We can understand. Dr. Hedgewar came from an Orthodox family. Traditional rituals were of immense importance for such families. However, Dr. Hedgewar transformed himself. It was not merely by attire and external appearance, but emotional and intellectual level also. He practiced the principle of equality in his own personal life and motivated volunteers to practice in the same fashion. The influence of Dr. Hedgewar on Swayamsevak we can see from the incidents which involved teenager Balasaheb Devras, who later became Sarsangachalak of RSS. One day Balasaheb Devras, Bal at that time, he came to his house along with his friend who belonged to so-called lower caste. He asked his mother that that friend he should also be served the meal in the kitchen itself, and he threatened his mother that if this is not done, then he himself will also have dinner outside the house. Dr. Balasaheb's mother served meal to both in the kitchen itself. It was a revolution at that time. We can see that Dr. Hedgewar's behavior used to inspire and motivate volunteers in such fashion. We need to understand two major aspects of Dr. Hedgewar's life. On one side, he was very insistent upon the strict discipline within the organization. On the other hand, he was like a rebel on social issues. In fact, his life shows that he was a great social reformer or social revolutionary in action, who always showed openness for all timely changes. Dr. Hedgewar was very sensitive about women's issues. This is the other factor of Dr. Hedgewar's life. He was a strong supporter of widow remarriages. He was a staunch opponent of then practice of Jarat Kumari Vivaha, where a teenage minor girl was married to a very old man. He opposed such things. He absolutely rejected and condemned the caste-based practices and stood for equality. As a result, caste never had any space in RSS function. I must mention an incident involving Bachcharajji Vyas, who came from a very orthodox Rajasthani family. Bachcharajji was to participate in training camp, but he was reluctant to have his everyday meal prepared by low caste people with the other volunteers due to the pressure of his family. Dr. Hedgewar allowed him to participate in the training camp on the condition that he could prepare his own meal and have it separately. Bachcharajji participated in the camp and prepared his meal on the first day, but he stopped it the very next day and had the meal with others in the camp after realizing the fallacy in this. This was Dr. Hedgewar's vision towards the problem. We had a volunteer named Shravan from Dhule. This Shravan, he came from a barber family. At that time, barber community was affected by untouchability. Shravan was willing to join third-year training camp at Nagpur, but had no money to pay the fees. Dr. Ji asked him to come a day earlier to the camp with his all instruments and asked him to cut hair of volunteers and charge them. Dr. Hedgewar asked him to pay the fees by this way. The incidents may occur very small, but huge impact. It had huge impact on the participant. Self-esteem of Shravan was maintained. Other participants lived with him for the entire camp even after knowing about his caste. This was revolution at that time. We must understand that Dr. Hedgewar was taking such kind of initiatives when the caste-based discrimination and untouchability had a very serious and huge impact on all social transactions. Youths from socially backward classes used to participate in the RSS activities which was experienced by the great people like Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. Dr. Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. Ambedkar visited RSS training camp in 1934 and 36 respectively and experienced the same fact. large number of youths from socially marginalized communities were participating in the national mobilization by Dr. Hedgewar very naturally. This achievement is of great social significance when the other leaders were helpless before hard realities in the society. But Dr. Hedgewar was ahead of all these leaders. He motivated and inspired to welcome Mahatma Gandhi's Harijan Yatra with a band in Chandrapur in Maharashtra. Mahatma Gandhi was organizing Harijan Yatra. The RSS band welcomed it. This was in the stark contrast when Mahatma Gandhi was forced to have separate pandals, one for caste Hindus and other for low caste Hindus in this Harijan Yatra. The contemporary social situation can be understood by another incident which involves Communist Party leader Shripad Amrut Dange. In the pre-independence era, Dange had given a call for strike to the workers of mill in Mumbai. Dange went to Dr. Ambedkar to seek his support for strike. He had gone to Dr. Ambedkar with a letter seeking his signature to support the strike. Dr. Ambedkar was ready to support the strike on two conditions. Dr. Ambedkar pointed out that socially backward workers were not allowed in those sections of the mill where needle and threads were used by traditional ways of using the mouth, that this way. Dr. Ambedkar insisted that socially backward workers be allowed in this section. He put forth another condition that workers of so-called lower caste be allowed to work with caste Hindu workers. This demand was significant as sections for caste and lower caste Hindus were different at that time. Communist leaders like Dange were nonplussed because Dr. Ambedkar's demand and had to return empty-handed. I do not want to demean anybody, but the incident shows how the communist leaders found themselves in helpless conditions before the contemporary social situations. Another instance from Dr. Hedgewar can be cited to show his progressive approach. Dr. Hedgewar was deeply influenced by Lokmanya Tilak. However, he never supported Tilak's views on rights to recite Vedas by non-Brahmins. Lokmanya Tilak was not supporting the Veda recital by non-Brahmins. This issue was of immense social significance in Maharashtra at that time and is known as Vedokta Prakaran. Here, Shahu Maharaj and Lokmanya Tilak were against each other, and Shahu Maharaj has floated a new institution as Shastra Jagat Guru, Shankaracharya Pit of Shastra Jagat Guru. We can see a photograph in the life history of Dr. Hedgewar. In that photograph, Dr. Hedgewar, Veer Savarkar and Shastra Jagat Guru, they are all sitting together. This was a clear-cut social message to the Maharashtrian society that I am not endorsing the views of Dr. Lokmanya Tilak of opposing the Veda Pathan by non-Brahmins. And in another incident, we can see his approach and insistence on social equality. When Dr. Hedgewar came to Pune to start RSS work, he chose the residence of Mahadev Shastri Divekar for the initial meetings. This was intentional to send a strong social message, as Mahadev Shastri was of strong view and was advocating that untouchability and caste discrimination had no place in the religion. He was a Shastri, he was a Pandit, and advocating for against the untouchability and caste discrimination. In both of the incidences, the social message was very clear and very loud. Dr. Hedgewar was more focused and insistent on action instead of delivering speeches. Dr. Hedgewar was knowing that problem he was dealing with is a problem which remained unsolved for many centuries in spite of relentless efforts by saints, seers, reformers and many institutions. His approach was drawing a bigger line of Hinduness Thus, he wanted to erase or nullify the caste line without touching it. After seeing the fate of the attempts which try for the frontal attack, we can say that his approach was more fruitful. Golwalkar Guruji became Sarasanga Chalak after the demise of Dr. Hedgewar, led the organization on the path shown by Dr. Hedgewar. He, in fact, enlarged the path in the same direction. Guruji's view on social ills were very clear and unambiguous. Guruji had written a letter to his friend Baburao Taylor, who has gone to Madras to read his research paper. Guruji wrote in the letter, "We need to unify the entire society by abolishing all differences like Brahmin, non-Brahmin, touchables, untouchable." In 1961, Guruji met Karpatri Maharaj in Delhi. Karpatri Maharaj had some expectation from Shri Guruji. He wanted Guruji to ask all RSS volunteers spread across the nation to follow their own Varna. Karpatri Maharaj was a staunch supporter of Varnashram. Guruji, however, politely put his stand. He said, all RSS workers, volunteers are his brothers, not disciples. Guruji made it clear that he cannot expect RSS volunteers just to follow whatever he said. Karpatri Maharaj was upset Guruji's response, but Guruji asked him, "Don't be angry. Where is the Varna Vyavastha today? Where is the caste system today? It is futile to rejuvenate the old, weak, tattered and frail system. This system needs to be abolished and work for united society. It will lead to a new social order." Shri Guruji further said, RSS in fact is working in this direction. RSS is working for harmonious, coordinated and organized society, the foundation for which will be the idea that nation is eternal, not the caste or the sect. We want to have an organized society without any discrimination. Guruji's view can be understood by another incident also. In 1952, Janasangha leaders denied to have any pact with Ram Rajya Parishad during 1952 Lok Sabha elections. The Ram Rajya Parishad publicly endorsed Varnashram, and we all know that Janasangha leaders used to consult Shri Guruji before each and every policy decision. This was a very important policy decision. Shri Guruji's historic and memorable contribution was seen in Prayagraj in 1966 and Udupi in 1967. He worked relentlessly to bring together all saints and seers representing all spiritual streams of Hindus. The two conferences unequivocally declared that all Hindus are brothers and sisters. Two conferences appealed to Hindus to follow path equality. It announced categorically that no Hindu is impure. Na Hindu patito bhave, which is the basis of untouchability. This was the biggest milestone for the Hindus as it was made by the top religious persons. Dr. Ambedkar always used to say that discrimination and the social hierarchy was seen all over the world. Social inequalities is a global phenomenon. But the additional evil in India is that it was done in the name of religion. It was the demand of the time that the term Hindu Dharma needed to be detached, decoupled, separated and dissociated with discrimination. Guruji played a major role in carrying out this historic responsibility. It should be noted that Shri Guruji always welcomed intercaste marriages and attended such marriages on several occasions. RSS strength was growing. The growth was not in terms of units of shakhas and Swayamsevak, but it was gradually reaching all layers of society. People had curiosity to know more about RSS. People had huge expectations from RSS. The need of the hour was to have firm stand and policy on certain issues. Up till now, RSS stand on social issues was mainly according to the situational demand. However, RSS felt it necessary to come out with no uncertain terms on certain social issues which had handicapped Hindus for generations. This need was met by then Sarsangh Chalak Balasaheb Devras, who delivered a historic speech in Pune on May 8, 1974. He delivered a speech, Samajik Samarasta and Hindu Sanghatan, in the prestigious Vasanta Vyakhyanmala. Balasaheb expressed his views on various issues, including untouchability, caste system, intercaste marriages, reservation, ancient literature. We can see his thoughts in verbatim. He says, Varna Vyavastha or caste system does not exist today. Whatever exists today is disorder and perversion. This disorder and perversion is gradually vanishing. This is a welcome sign. Everybody should support so that these evils will disappear smoothly. About intercaste marriage, he says, we have broken roti bandi, restrictions on dining. Similarly, we need to break the shackles of beti bandi, the restrictions on marriages, so that intensity of caste discrimination decreases. Nothing is wrong in the world if untouchability is not wrong. It must go lock, stock and barrel. We need to protect, here further says, we need to protect and preserve our characteristics that are beneficial for the world. Hindus have to unite for that. For Hindu unity, social equality is very essential. Balasaheb was very categorical about the much debated issue of reservation. His stand was very clear. Reservation should continue till benefiting class feels it necessary. At the same time, he also said that the SC brothers and sisters would certainly like to live their lives with self-esteem and self-respect. Balasaheb emphasized that eradication of social discrimination and Hindu Sanghatan are two sides of same coin. Balasaheb showed his commitment to the cause by actual action also. He donated amount he received as Lokmanya Tilak Award, 1 lakh rupees at that time, to the Dalit Upliftment Program at Mahisal. RSS former Pracharak Madhav Deval had undertaken a project of Dalit upliftment in Mahisal through cooperative farming. The Dalit Shabd was used at that time. Balasaheb always used to insist RSS volunteers that RSS thought need to be translated into action by every Swayamsevak in his personal life, day-to-day life. Balasaheb insistence resulted into massive number of families associated with RSS practicing social equality in their actual personal and social lives. This is reality across the country. The term Samajik Samrasta, which was initially used by RSS volunteers, is now accepted by society. We need to understand the spirit behind this term. The term Samrasta was floated by Dattopant Thengdi, a RSS dialogue idol. Thengdiji felt that Samrasta is the way to attain equality. The term Samrasta is fundamentally psychological state of mind. Samrasta is more appropriate term which reflects Indian school of thought, which is necessarily based on spirituality and not materialism. It has a deep meaning. We believe that drastic change in the psyche is of utmost importance to change the situation. We believe that this change psyche will help us to do away with the customs and traditions like untouchability, making relentless efforts to bring about samatha by awakening sense of brotherhood in Samarasta. We believe that inequality will have no space if there is a strong sense of brotherhood or fraternity. Samarasta is a multidimensional concept which basically involves social condition in which dignity of every individual is ensured. It necessarily connects with self-esteem, equal opportunity and social security to everyone via brotherhood. Current Sarsangh Chalak, Manya Mohanji Bhagwat, has categorically stated that caste-based discrimination is not integral part of Hinduism. It is a fault line of Hindu Dharma. It is adharma, and it is the infection of adharma in dharma. He has made it clear on several occasions that RSS supports constitutional reservation. Mohanji has gone forward a step ahead by stating that it is necessary to give away all practices, traditions, and everything which discriminate. Everything that discriminates should go lock, stock, and barrel. He has asked all the volunteers to work for free entry to temples, water wells, and cremation grounds. This is to ensure the absolute and complete equality among all Hindus. Currently, lakhs of Swayamsevak are working in this direction for complete equality. RSS approach can be understood by the speeches and the views expressed by Sarsanga Chalaks, but the reservations adopted by RSS top decision-making bodies ABKM and ABPS, Akhil Bharatiya Karyakari Mandal and Akhil Bharatiya Pratinidhi Sabha, both have passed various resolutions from time to time, giving us enough understanding of RSS approach. Here are some important resolutions. In 1981, reservation, the RSS considers it necessary that reservation should continue for the present. In 1990, RSS ABPS welcomed the extension of reservation to Neo-Buddhist. In 1994, the reservation on the call of social harmony. In 2005, resolution on caste rivalry and social harmony. Here, the ABKM appeals to Hindu society that it should take all necessary measures to ensure entry and access to every Hindu, irrespective of his caste, to their homes, temples, religious spaces, public wells, ponds, and other public places. 2007 resolution to strengthen social harmony. It is considered opinion of ABPS that in the present situation, we can fulfill the pious task of creating harmonious and healthy society by securing social justice and economic empowerment to the deprived section, which can be achieved only by providing equality of opportunities and social dignity on the basis of social harmony and goodwill. All about resolutions reflect RSS strong commitment for social equality and harmony. They reflect RSS faith in eradication of caste system and untouchability. It reflects RSS faith that all Hindus are equal. However, passage of resolutions is not adequate to transform the ground realities. Resolutions mainly demonstrate ideological and theoretical part of the issue. The crucial test begins when the resolutions are being executed. RSS volunteers are engaged in various types of social activities under various platforms. They work silently but with a strong belief in awakening consciousness and consensus, which is expected to bring sustainable transformation in the society. Against this background, we need to see the behavior of RSS volunteers in their personal and social life. A lot of such incidences can be cited wherein RSS volunteers have acted in accordance with RSS stand. Their personal and social life is more inclusive. They are rejecting all practices which are discriminatory. They are engaged in creating new inclusive traditions. But due to the paucity of time, I am not going into the incidences, but restricting myself to the ideological part which is guiding us to establish harmonious society. During emergency, a survey was carried out in Yeroda jail. The number of people were in the jail for anti-emergency struggle. The survey showed that maximum number of men who preferred intercaste marriages belonged to RSS. Remember, this was in 70s, 50 years back. last 2 years, we have organized in 5 places the conferences of intercaste marriage couples in Andhra and Telangana. And in that conferences, many religious leaders proclaimed that intercaste marriages have no, they are according to our dharma. One of our Karyakarta, Ramesh Pandav, he is doctorate in civil engineering, but performing rituals also. He has performed rituals in more than 1,000 marriages with the precondition that the marriage should be intercaste. He has performed rituals in more than 1,000 marriages. RSS does not belong in confrontation. It belongs in focusing on social unity, and the confrontation results in bitterness. At the same time, however, RSS does not hesitate to participate in the agitations on the social issues, whenever necessary. Take the case of renaming of Marathwada University after Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. Controversy erupted and the society got divided on the caste lines. RSS does not merely pass resolution, but organize Janasamvad program in creating the suitable atmosphere for renaming and the renaming took place. In Kerala, RSS was active in welcoming the march undertaken by the communist leader K. Sukumaran for the entry of Guruvayur temple. RSS workers actively welcomed the yatra and were present at the time of the entry in the temple. In 80s, society witnessed a major controversy over publication of Dr. Ambedkar's writing criticizing Ram and Krishna by government body. Many people had objected to it, but RSS favored publication of books even with the risk of erosion of popular support and love for the organization among the masses. RSS has taken keen initiative in training non-Brahmin peoples as priests. They have been appointed as priests in various temples. Such activities are in progress in Paithan, Nashik, Hyderabad and Tirupati. RSS Swayamsevak feel it necessary that icons of all sections of the society, especially from the deprived classes, should be acknowledged by the entire society. RSS is taking conscious efforts in this direction. Names of Lahuji Vastar in Maharashtra, Bhagyareddy Verma in Hyderabad, Telangana and Suhaldev from Uttar Pradesh can be cited in this connection. RSS DNA is to support any activity undertaken by anybody which will help to strengthen social harmony. RSS was active in organizing lunch of the Dharmacharya in the locality of Raja Dome during Kashi Dharma Sansad in 1994. This dome is performing last rituals on the banks of Ganga. They are treated as the untouchables. Similarly, Madhvacharya Vishwesh Tirth of Udupi started initiative to visit localities of underprivileged. RSS was actively involved in it. RSS Swayamsevak have welcomed and supported Kanchi Kamkoti Shankaracharya's initiative of giving rites of rituals and Vedadhayan to all Hindus. Kameshwar Chopal, a brother from scheduled caste, laid the foundation stone of Ram temple in Ayodhya. On 9th November 1989, at the initiative of RSS, he is now trustee of Ayodhya temple. RSS Swayamsevak, we all know that they are running 1 lakh service related activities for the upliftment of the downtrodden underprivileged people. Terminology kept on changing, action plan changed with time, but RSS always kept in mind the ultimate goal, the goal of Hindu unity, the unity which has no untouchability, the unity sans caste discrimination, the unity which has social justice and economic programs. This is the life mission of RSS, not a strategy or social engineering. RSS works needs to be evaluated by the effort taken by the organization and the success rate in achieving its ultimate goal. Hindu unity is the ultimate goal of RSS, and eradication of all sorts of inequalities is the precondition to this unity. RSS believes that Hindu unity has seeds for overall development of the society. While celebrating the Amrit Mahotsav of our independence, we still continue to face challenges and the problems. RSS cannot separate itself from these challenges. First, we will look at the positive side. Our constitution has made several changes on the social fabric, in the social fabric in a single stroke. It is a bloodless revolution. There are some signs in the change, signs of change at the social level also. We are giving up many outdated customs and traditions which are obstructing our path towards equality. Number of intercaste marriages is increasing. In fact, caste-based hegemony is at decline and losing its relevance. Severity of caste discrimination has come down drastically. But this is one side of the story. The other side of the story, we can, when we look at that, some problems continue to exist. Atrocities on scheduled castes, particularly against women, continue to prevail. In fact, they are on the rise in some parts of the country. The Constitution has has ensured several fundamental rights, but they cannot be enjoyed or translated into reality due to the social pressure. Some people continue to cite examples from ancient literature which have no relevance today, and they are becoming causes of conflict. People are accepting the principle of equality at the theoretical level, but they are going into their own comfort zone, determined and defined by caste at practical level. All these problems, they are also coming forward. When we introspect, we can say that we all are equal as citizens, but not equal as human beings up till now. The citizenship is a legal construct, while person or human is a moral one. The Constitution ensures the equality, political and legal, but as Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar stressed, social, educational and economic equality is yet to be attained. This is the core area where organizations, activists and thinkers have a large role to play than the government. Organizations like RSS are bound to play a significant and decisive role in this scenario. Scheduled caste community is undergoing a massive change because of the new social structures. A new educated caste within scheduled caste communities has come up. We need to accommodate their aspiration, their dreams and expectations. Earlier, it was a struggle for physical security, atrocities and daily needs. Now a struggle for dignity, self-esteem and involvement in all social transactions is adding to it. All these issues are needed to be addressed. In the area where the organizations like RSS have a big role to play, equality in all spheres of life is yet to be attained. The global scenario, foreign powers are taking advantage of the fault lines of Hindu society. This is happening since historic periods. It is happening even today. Some occasions we can cite Cisco, California, Seattle, Swaminarayan Temple are the glaring examples of such aspects of the problem. It is our responsibility to address these issues domestically. At the same time, it is our responsibility to ensure that these issues are not misused or flared up by the vested interests and the foreign forces. RSS used to go at its own pace in the past. It used to travel as per its own path. It has passed through several hardships, even faced challenges of existence. But the situation has now changed. RSS has grown at all levels. People are in mood to reason. Naturally, the people are having high expectations from Sangh. This external pressure is also there. We should withstand that. It is indeed to fulfill expectations of self and expectations from the society. RSS needs to have balancing act while taking society in the right direction. Importantly, this needs to be done at the expected pace. We need to go at the expected pace in the view of overall social conditions. We are confident that we will meet this challenge. History is testimony to the fact that RSS had accepted all the challenges successfully which are designed by the destiny. RSS will surely rise to the occasion. I am confident it will certainly successfully resolve all the social issues of the present of this ancient nation. Thank you very much.